The ocean is endless. The waves crash, carrying secrets of adventure, danger, and treasure. And in the middle of it all stands a boy with a straw hat. Chasing a dream so big, the whole world is watching, the horizon stretches wide, filled with mystery and promise. The sails rise, catching the wind that whispers of new lands. The world of One Piece is alive again. Season 2 is coming to Netflix. And the journey that began with a small ship and a stubborn dream is about to grow even larger. The Straw Hat crew has already taken their first steps into legend. In Season 1, we watched Monkey D. Luffy leave behind the ordinary world to chase the greatest treasure of all the One Piece. Along the way, he wasn't alone. He found a swordsman with a promise as sharp as his blades, a thief who dreams of drawing the world's map, a liar who longs to be brave, a cook who fights for freedom on the sea. Together they became more than friends. They became a crew, but the sea is never still. It hides storms, shadows, and enemies that test every dreamer's strength. If Season 1 was about finding the courage to start the journey, Season 2 is about facing the price of chasing that dream. Every smile, every battle, every promise will be tested as the Straw Hats sail further into waters filled with rivals, marines and outlaws whose names shake the world. The Grand Line, the legendary sea, waits ahead. A place where the strongest pirates clash, where the tides are unpredictable, and where only the boldest survive. This is where Luffy and his crew are headed. And the closer they get, the higher the stakes become. The story of One Piece has never just been about treasure. It's about the fire that burns inside those who refuse to give up, no matter the cost. Luffy's hat isn't just a symbol of his dream, it's a promise to himself and to everyone who sails beside him. A promise that he will never stop until he reaches the end of the sea. Season 2 takes that promise and throws it into the storm. The ocean is calling again. The waves crash louder. The shadows of new enemies rise. And the Straw Hats will have to hold tighter than ever to their bond if they want to survive what's coming. Season 2 isn't just a continuation, it's a step into a bigger, darker, and more dangerous world. A world where legends are born and dreams are tested. The first look at Season 2 promises more than just adventure. It promises fire, storm, and heart. It's the next chapter in a story that has already captured the world. And for those who thought the seas of Season 1 were wild, the journey ahead is only just beginning. Asterisk, the sea remembers. Every battle, every tear, every promise, it all echoes in the waves. Before we look ahead, we must look back at how this journey began, and why the Straw Hat Crew's story is unlike any other. It started with a boy who wasn't afraid to smile in the face of the impossible. Monkey D. Luffy, ordinary in body, but extraordinary in spirit. He ate the fruit that cursed him with a strange power, stretching his body like rubber, but it gave him something far greater. A chance to chase the dream that burns brighter than the sun, to become the king of the pirates, but no king rises alone. Luffy needed people who would believe in him, people who carried their own dreams, people who weren't afraid to fight against the world. That's where the crew began. Roronoa Zoro, the swordsman who made a vow under the stars to become the greatest who ever lived. Nami, a thief with sharp eyes and a broken heart, who once thought trust was weakness. Usopp, a dreamer who hides his fear behind stories but holds courage deeper than he knows. Sangi, the cook who defends every meal like a blade. Bound by a promise to find the sea of all seas. Together, they stood against enemies that should have crushed them. Pirates stronger than storms, marines backed by justice, monsters that hid in plain sight. And yet, through fire and chaos, they never broke. Because their bond became stronger than fear. Season 1 wasn't just about fights and ships. It was about the moment Nami cried for help and Luffy answered without hesitation. It was about Zoro standing in the face of death, refusing to back down because his captain believed in him. It was about Usopp learning that bravery doesn't mean not being afraid, it means standing tall anyway. And it was about Sanji cooking with fire not just for food, but for friendship, feeding not just their bodies but their souls. Those moments built the foundation of something unshakable. They didn't just survive the seas, they claimed their right to sail them. With every victory, with every tear, the Straw Hats began to change the way the world looked at them. No longer outcasts, no longer alone. They became a crew that the world had to notice, but the seas never rest. For every island they visited, for every battle they fought, whispers grew louder. The Marines began to watch. Rival pirates began to take notice, and the name Straw Hat started to spread like fire across the waters. Fame is not a crown, though. It is a weight. With every step forward, the challenges grow heavier. With every dream chased, enemies rise from the shadows. Season 1 was only the beginning. It was about planting seeds of hope, courage, and loyalty. Season 2 is the storm that comes after those seeds have been sown. The battles will be greater, the villains will be darker, and the seas themselves will rise against those foolish enough to believe they can conquer them. The recap is not just a reminder, it's a warning. The path that Luffy and his crew have chosen is not one that ends with calm waters and easy victories. It is a path that demands sacrifice, strength, and the unbreakable belief in dreams. And for those who follow it, the Grand Line waits, a place where legends are made, and where countless pirates have already fallen. The Straw Hats have proven that they can rise against impossible odds. But the real test is only just beginning. Their bond will be pushed, their loyalty will be tested, and their dreams will either carry them forward or drag them into the deep dot. This is not just a journey, it's a story of how a crew becomes uncheckable. And Season 2 is where their legend begins to roar louder than the waves themselves. The sails are raised. The horizon is darker, the air is heavier, filled with the scent of storm and fire. What waits in Season 2 is not the same playful adventure we saw before. It is sharper, colder, and far more dangerous. The Straw Hat crew has taken their first steps as pirates, but now their journey pulls them closer to the Grand Line, a sea spoken of in whispers, a place feared by even the bravest sailors. It is not simply water and waves, it is a battlefield where legends are born and graves are made. The seas here bend to no one, the storms rise without warning. The enemies are not ordinary men, but forces that can shake entire islands. This is the stage where Season 2 unfolds. New faces are coming. Some will smile with kindness, but carry daggers in their hearts. Others will arrive in shadows, hungry for blood, chasing the Straw Hats for glory, revenge, or something far more sinister. Luffy and his crew are about to learn that every step toward the One Piece also steps into the crosshairs of those who would do anything to stop them. The Marines will not stay silent. Their eyes are fixed on the Straw Hats. Every victory in Season 1 painted a target on their backs. And now, hunters will rise from the sea. Marines, bounty hunters, rival pirates, all chasing the same dream, all ready to crush anyone who stands in their way. The wanted posters are no longer just pieces of paper, they are promises. Promises of battles that will scar the sea, but Season 2 isn't just about enemies. It is about discovery. New islands will rise from the mist, each with its own secrets, its own dangers, its own broken histories. Strange lands where freedom is tested, where the crew must decide not only how far they are willing to go for their dreams, but how much they are willing to risk for each other. Because this sea doesn't just test strength, it tests hearts. The shadows of new villains will stretch across the waves, some with powers beyond imagination, some with minds so twisted they can bend loyalty and hope into weapons. Their presence will not only challenge the Straw Hats in battle, it will question their very purpose. Who are they really fighting for? What does it mean to dream when the world tries to break every dreamer it meets? Luffy's laughter may still echo, fearless and free, but even he cannot ignore the weight pressing against him. The seas ahead demand more than courage. They demand sacrifice. And each member of his crew will have to face their own demons. Season 2 will not only expand the world, it will dig into the heart of every character, pulling out their fears, their pasts, and their truths. The first look is more than a glimpse. It is a spark of what's coming, towering ships rising like monsters, swords clashing in storms, maps that lead to places no sane man would go, and shadows of figures whose names already ripple across the seas. Every frame whispers a promise that the adventure is bigger, the bonds are stronger, and the danger is deeper than ever before. The journey of the Straw Hats is no longer a story of beginnings. It is now a story of survival, of defiance, of standing tall against a world determined to crush them. Every laugh will carry weight. Every fight will cost more. Every victory will feel like standing on the edge of a blade. Season 2 is not just another chapter. It is the storm breaking. It is the roar of the ocean demanding to know who has the strength to face it. And as the shadows gather and the seas grow darker, one thing remains clear: the Straw Hat crew is not sailing toward safety. They are sailing toward history. The sea has spoken. The journey is not slowing down. Every horizon the Straw Hat crew reaches only reveals another storm, another enemy, another test. And now, as Season 2 approaches, one truth becomes clear. The adventure has only just begun. The dream of finding the One Piece was never meant to be easy. It was never meant for the faint of heart. It is a dream that asks for sacrifice, courage, and an unshakable will. Luffy knew this when he put on that straw hat, when he promised that he would never stop until he reached the end of the sea. But promises are tested in fire. And the fire is rising. Season 2 is not just about new battles, it is about legacy. Every step the Straw Hats take leaves ripples across the world. Every fight they win changes how people see them. Every bond they strengthen reminds us why they sail together. And now the weight of their choices will fall heavier than ever. The waves are higher. The shadows are darker. The enemies are stronger. Yet through it all, one sound continues to cut through the chaos: Luffy's laugh. A laugh that tells us he will never break, never back down, never lose sight of the horizon. Because this story has always been about more than treasure. It has always been about hope, about freedom, about chasing dreams so wild the world cannot cage them. This is why the Straw Hats matter. Not just because they fight, not just because they win, but because they remind us that even in the face of impossible odds, even when the storms try to drown every spark of light, you can stand tall. You can keep going. You can fight for the dream that burns inside your heart. Season 2 is the next chapter of that fight. The battles will be louder. The oceans will roar with fury. The legends of the sea will rise to meet them. And through every clash, through every storm, the Straw Hat crew will keep sailing forward. Together, the screen fades, but the echo remains. The journey continues. The waves crash against the ship. The horizon glows with fire. The Straw Hat flag rises high, untorn, unbroken. And beneath it, a crew of dreamers refuses to stop. This is not the end. It is the beginning of something greater. The seas ahead hold danger, but they also hold destiny. And with every storm they conquer, the Straw Hats move closer to writing their names into history. The world is watching. The seas are waiting. And the legend of One Piece is about to roar louder than ever before. The journey continues. Season 2, Netflix, fade to black, the sound of waves. And then, faintly, a laugh light, fearless, unstoppable asterisk.